Hi guys, Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a special video which is about the Vedanta Delisting, and this is a video on demand from you all. I'm sure this big buzz about Vedanta Delisting is because of 2-3 things. Number one, it's a nifty 50 stock which is getting delisted. It's not any sundry stock which is getting delisted. Number one. Number two, very important, is that I feel that many of you have already invested in this stock, and that is why you are getting the feeling, you might get worried. Why not? That what will happen to my money if this stock really were to get delisted? Will anyone ask me as a shareholder before the company opts for this delisting? Do you feel that this is going to be just a one-day process, a one-day resolution which will be passed and then it will be an end game? No, it will not be so. There has to be a big process. SEBI has its own listing as well as delisting regulations. There is a big process through which the company has to go, and then a company gets delisted. Just for your information, a company named as SR Oil also got delisted in 2018, and believe it or not, it took more than 4 years for it to complete the entire delisting process. So don't be under the impression that a news came up about Vedanta delisting and it's going to be all over. No. So what I thought was that instead of telling about who is Vedanta, who is the parent company, what is the main business, what is the product mix and all that, like a typical fundamental analysis video, I personally thought that this video should not be like a fundamental analysis video of Vedanta. I think this video should tackle the big question which is there in your mind right now, that will this delisting really happen? Will it happen immediately? If I were asked my opinion on whether the share should get delisted or not, whether I should say yes, kabul hai, or whether I should say no, I don't want it. So I think we are going to focus on the procedure of delisting, and we are going to answer the very important question that if I were asked, then what should be my answer, right? So let's start. The very first thing is a board meeting. Okay, so in principle, board has to give an approval that yes, we are ready for the delisting, and this board meeting is going to happen on 18th of May. Okay, everyone also might have read in the news that an indicative price of 87.5 rupees has been declared by the company. Okay, now what is this indicative price? Is this the final price? No, the word itself is saying it's an indicative price. So SEBI again has its own rules, regulations, norms, whatever we call, wherein under these rules an indicative price is fixed. Okay, this is just like a guideline price. Okay, this is not yet the final price. Okay, so just take this as your additional information. Indicative price has been fixed as of now. Board meeting is going to happen on 18th of May, where the board of directors will decide amongst themselves that really whether should we go ahead with the listing or not. If they say yes, we will go ahead with the listing, number one, then they'll have to intimate the stock exchanges that yes, board of directors have given a primary approval. Now who's the second authority to whom the final approval has to be asked? It is we, the shareholders. Okay, then so first step was board resolution, second one was communicate to the stock exchange that yes, board has given the approval. Third, people like you and me, or the domestic institutional investors, foreign institutional investors, foreign portfolio investors, their opinion will also be asked, and a special resolution. Okay, not an ordinary resolution. Ordinary resolution is where more than 51% people have to agree. Okay, this is not an ordinary resolution of 51%. This is a special resolution which has to be passed. Okay, this has to be passed by the shareholders, and if the shareholders agree to this, then again it will be intimated to the stock exchange that in principle they are agreeing to this. Now please wait. Here are we talking about at what price? Here are we talking about what will be the floor price, what will be the ceiling? Nothing. This is just a basic yes or no subject to terms and conditions. Okay, so if in principle itself shareholders say you tell us whatever price, we are not ready for delisting. Okay, in this case the process of delisting ends here itself. Okay, but if shareholders say that wait, we may consider delisting, tell us what price. Okay, we would be interested to know the price. So just as a wild example I'm giving you, let us say tomorrow, not tomorrow, in future time, if the company says that today price is 87 rupees, this is just an example. If company says that we are agreeing to offer you the shares at 250 rupees per share, you give us your shares, okay, and we are ready to pay you 250 rupees per share, then is that okay? Then some shareholders might say yes. For those who have bought the share at maybe 150, 160, they might say that okay, yes, why not? Okay, so here Just an in principle. I hope you're understanding this. Here we are not talking about the price. It's just an in principle, yes or no. Okay. So if shareholders say yes, okay, in principle we don't have any problem with delisting, but subject to terms and conditions, we would also like to know the price and all that. Okay. Here if they say yes, then again it is communicated to the exchange. So till now 4 steps. Board approval, communication to the exchange, shareholders approval, communication to the exchange. Okay. Now what happens? After this, a merchant banker is appointed. Okay, merchant banker is generally a person who is the in charge person of this entire process, and those who know the IPO process. Again, for the IPO also a merchant banker is appointed. Merchant banker is the one who actually leads through the front the entire process. Okay, so here also the entire delisting process, who will be the captain of this, who will be running this entire show, the entire procedures, who will be fulfilling that, it is going to be the merchant banker. Okay, so he's going to do all the bhagam bhagi ka jo kaam hai, getting approvals, meeting with the investors and all that, everything will be done by the merchant banker. Okay, here a reverse book building process is started by the merchant banker. Okay, what is the reverse book building process? In short, just in 1 or 2 sentences to understand the reverse book building process, here the merchant banker tries to understand what is the price at which investors might agree to give the shares. Okay, so in our example, what was the price? 250. How will the company come to know about the expectation of the shareholders? How will the company come to know? So that is why they appoint the merchant banker. Merchant banker is like the captain who will now start the entire process. He will be leading the entire team, and the reverse book building process will start. Through this process, in the entire process, there will be a price discovery. Okay, we call this as a price discovery mechanism. People's expectations are actually checked in this entire process. Okay, by the way, I've explained this entire process of what is a book building in my basics of stock market lecture series. So if you want to have a look at these lectures, I think you should visit my website rachana.ranade.com. Okay, so coming back to our discussion, reverse book building process will take place, and after this process, a floor price means what? A base price will be fixed. Okay, right, so floor price is fixed, in principle approvals are received, then what next? Now you can imagine what could happen. Okay, floor price is fixed, assume at 120 rupees, just as an example. Okay, company says, okay, we are ready, let's go ahead. Bids are placed and after the bids are placed, at the end company says, we don't have enough money. Okay, might be a problem, right? So before this application thing starts, before all these application for bid start, an escrow account has to be opened. Okay, what is an escrow account? Escrow account is basically an account with a special purpose. Okay, and money can be withdrawn from this account only for that specific purpose for which the account has been created. Okay, for IPO also an escrow account is opened. Now what happens? I'll just quickly give you a comparison. In IPO, what happens? Company opens an escrow account. In this escrow account, people like you and me who bid for the IPO deposit money in this escrow account. Okay, now what will happen in case of a delisting? Exactly ulta. In IPO, who was depositing money in this escrow account? It was the shareholders who were depositing money. Okay, in a reverse book building, or not in a reverse book building, sorry, in a demerge, oh my god, in a delisting. Okay, not in a listing, in a delisting process, what is going to happen? The promoters are asking for the shares, and who is going to pay money to whom? Promoter is going to pay money to the shareholders. So will they directly give money to the shareholders? No, promoter has to keep money in the escrow account now. So it's exactly the reverse way. In listing, during listing, shareholders keep money in this account and promoter issues the shares. In delisting, promoter keeps money in this account and people like you and me, shareholders, will give the shares. Exactly reverse scenario. I hope this is also clear, right? So now what happens is that escrow account is also opened, right? Now a public announcement will be made. Okay, public announcement of what? What is the floor price? What are the opening and closing dates of the offer? How will the offer take place? Which is the stock exchange, name of the stock exchange? Example, BSE, NSE both, from where the share will get delisted. What is the name of the merchant banker? What are the details of the merchant banker? What are the details of the escrow account? What will happen to the shareholding pattern after delisting? All these things, etc., etc. All these things will be given in the public announcement. Okay. Okay, till here. What all happened? First, BOD approval, then intimation to exchange, then shareholders approval, intimation to the exchange, then merchant banker appointed, reverse book building process done, then floor price determined, escrow account opened, the promoter kept money in this account, okay, then a public announcement will be made wherein all these details will be given. Now what happens is that once public announcement is made, then the letters of offer are dispatched. Okay, now what do we mean by letter of offer? Promoter is offering, na? We are offering you all to give us back your shares, okay, wherein you will apply for this delisting now. So now what happens is that there will be a dispatch of a letter of offer will be dispatched, and here the actual bidding starts. So you can imagine, you are the shareholder of the company, you will receive a letter. Dear shareholder, do you want to bid for the delisting? If yes, at what price? Something like this. Okay. Now this is the big question. Okay. This is where the actual bidding has started. Na? You can imagine, just imagine holding that letter of offer in your hand. The company is asking you whether you are ready to give back your shares. And if yes, at what price are you ready? The big question here in your mind is, should you say yes or should you say no? What will happen if you say yes, or what will happen if you say no? Understand, the process can still fail here at this point of time if 90% of the people, okay, 90% of the people say no. Okay, if 90% of the people say that whatever price you are offering, we are not agreeing to this, so we don't want to go ahead with this delisting stuff, khatam, delisting process ends here. Okay. So now you are saying that, wow, I have the opportunity of being in that 90%. Okay, so maybe I said it the reverse way. Let me just clarify this. 90% of the people should say yes, we are ready for the delisting, and then and only then this delisting will take place. Okay, I'm not sure what I said in the flow, so let me just clarify one last time. If 90% people say yes, we agree for the delisting, then only this delisting will take place. Okay, so if I were asked, should I say yes or should I say no? Number one. Number two, does my vote really count or not? Okay, how much retail individual investors really have the power? Okay, do you want to know the sad truth? The sad truth is that retail individual investors have no power in this case specifically. Why? Understand, I'll read out the shareholding pattern of Vedanta for you. The promoter and promoter group companies holding is 50.14%. Promoters, so of course they are going to say yes for the delisting. So 50.14% gone. Question is, how much do retail individual investors hold? Retail individual investors are those shareholders who hold shares worth less than 2 lakh rupees. Okay, so for example, I hold shares worth rupees. I hold only 10 shares of Vedanta. I go into the RII category, retail individual investors category. This RII category is only 7.26%. Only 7.26% of the retail individual investors in Vedanta. What about high net worth individuals? Individuals who have shares worth more than 2 lakh rupees. But they are individuals. They are not institutions. They are only 0.28% of the entire shareholding. Okay. So if you calculate roughly, it is 7.54%. 7.54%, which is there with the individual investors. So if all the individual investors also say no, we are not ready for this delisting, still nothing is going to happen. Why? Because we are still within that 10% category, na? So you can imagine this. What about balance? Who holds the balance? So it is the domestic institutional investors like mutual funds, insurance companies, whatever. It could be other fund houses, right? It could be foreign institutional investors. It could be foreign portfolio investors. So one more time, who all are others? Domestic institutional investors, like I said, could be mutual funds, could be insurance companies. Number two, it is foreign institutional investors. Number three, it is foreign portfolio investors who put together, all these big investors who put together hold 42.32% shares in the company. In simple words, do we need to really worry about the delisting? Even if I say no, I don't want this, your opinion as good as is not going to matter. Unfortunate story, but this is the truth. That is why I thought of telling this to you. Okay, so this is about what the entire shareholding has got to do with the decision. I hope you understood this. So in simple words, promoters ka to 50.14%, yes. Second one is if DIIs, FPIs and FIs agree, all of them agree, and even if all the shareholders say we don't agree, still delisting will take place because they have achieved more than 90% saying yes. Okay, I hope this is absolutely clear. If this is successful, if all put together more than 90% say yes, we are ready with this, then the final price will be determined. Okay, once the final price is determined, then finally the final application will be given to the stock exchange to delist the shares, and within 1 year the process will be completed. I hope you understood the entire process from start to end. Now the final point is the conclusion. Okay, conclusion is that I hope I need not wrap it up, but just quickly in like 20-25 seconds. First board approval, then shareholders approval, then communication to the exchanges, cutting it short. Okay, then merchant bankers will be appointed, then book building starts, then a final announcement, floor price will be decided, announcement will be made, you will receive the letter, you will get that awesome feeling that yes, I am being asked for my opinion, but unfortunately though your opinion is not going to count because all retail individual investors put together are barely 7.5%. Okay, so if all these big players say yes, end game. Okay, and if this happens, final price is decided, the application is made to the stock exchange to delist. Okay, as a conclusion, I think you need to know 2 points before we conclude. Okay, number one is if I still want that kuch bhi ho jaye, I am not ready to give my shares for delisting, then what? Okay, in this case, if you feel that if you still want to hold on to the shares, is this allowed? Answer is yes, you can still hold on to the shares. But the second point, what will happen if you hold on to the shares? If you hold on to the shares, it will be an investment which has as good as zero liquidity. Zero liquidity means what? If after 3 years, if you feel that, oh my god, I am in need of money, let me sell off these Vedanta shares, where are you going to sell it? Stock exchange, it's not going to be listed at that time, correct? Now you have no choice but sell it back to the promoters. But promoters, I mean, how are you going to contact the promoters? How will they agree to your offer? And I mean this is as good as impossible. So one last piece of advice from me: if 90% approval is received, go ahead and give your shares for delisting. Because what is the biggest problem is that at the end, if you still remain stubborn, if you don't give your shares for delisting, liquidity, you will not be in a position to sell the shares when you want to sell it. Okay, I hope you have understood this. I have shot this at one take. I hope you like this entire content. I told you that I am trying to do this without any editing, pure teaching, without any graphics. I just wanted to do this one time, so I just thought of doing this for you. So I hope you enjoyed this entire lecture. Do let me know in the comment section if you still have any doubts, and I'll be happy to solve them. That's it from my side, guys. Jai Hind and bye bye.